shop, but to travel 100 or 200 miles to turn in cards, and I don't know if you can do online or not and stuff. But
Yeah, we'd have to.
that was the question that was brought up.
Dusty Roy. Dusty Roy's the director of natural resources. We'll have to talk to him and see.
I don't like to look a gift horse in the mouth, but if the gift horse, if I have to travel 100 miles to see that.
Well, we'll give you a gift card for L&M Supply then. How does that sound?
Yeah, that would have been much better. Something close.
No,
All right, thank you.
I gotta stop too. Okay.
Oh, I gotta throw it back.
Okay, moving forward here, sorry about that, we had a little breakdown in the laptop, it ran out of juice, so but we got to plug back in here, so apologize for that little delay. I know the elders were giving a little brief report on some of the things that are happening in or around the reservation, and, you know, we're talking about different ways and how we can, you know, help out and empower our community councils, and also to, you know, to get things rolling in a good way for our elders. So I want to say big wish to elders, and I'm not sure, you know, since Anita's here and she's on the elders commission, if she wants to maybe give a little update on the commission. I know they've been meeting, you know, for a few meetings now, and I know they're getting pretty organized too. And I know that if you want to say a few words, Anita,
about just the commission that you've been meeting and talking about your bylaws or whatever, so.
One of the things that, like last night, the Monoman Community Council had a meeting, and 3 of us from the Elders Commission showed up. We let them know our purpose is to generate ideas and suggestions for the RBC to act on or not act on. Ideas that would benefit the elders. We are seeking input not just from elders, but also from the youth who know what their parents and grandparents' needs are. We plan on meeting at the sports complex next month, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. The space hasn't been confirmed yet, so I don't even want to put that out there yet. But it's something we really want to make a difference. I really appreciated the last RBC meeting where, you know, elder tribal parking was brought up, and Cheryl Rightway jumped on it and said, you know, that's something she would move on. So I'm excited about that being a positive change for the elders. And I'm hoping that, you know, this commission, you know, some have 2-year terms, some have 4-year terms. What would be really nice if we could accomplish so much that this commission wouldn't be needed, because the things that the elders needed were in place. Rich.
thank you, Anita, I appreciate that little update. So I know that the Elders Commission, also the Elders Council, will put out their meeting notices soon when their next meetings are coming up and where they're going to be held at. So that's important to get that out to our general public so they can be aware of where they're going to have these meetings. So they want to attend. All right, next up.
Hold on a second. I got a question. Yeah, I know they're working on budgets too. They're working with Tracy, and I believe they're working with Lori York too on their budget. So the sooner we get their budget, and then we can. They're working on their budget. So.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you, Michael. All right. Next up is new business. We have Whittiers Volunteer Fire Department. I know there's a letter here from the Whittiers Fire Chief. Gus Bevan is requesting some funds here, and I know that this is an annual. Michael, is this annual funding that we give them?
Yeah,
Because it says fiscal year budget.
we still gotta talk about it, because they get money also for service area stuff from us and all that. So, and then they get money from housing also. So, I think we're talking about whether they wanted annual funding for one of their funding requests is for their. It's for their
Fiscal year.
yeah.
So that's what they're asking for.
Okay, I think that's for their service area stuff. So I think if that's in there, I think we're okay with that. So, because we pay that annually.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah,
We already do that?
we do it annually,
Is it in the budget, Mike?
yes.
So we don't need a motion?
I don't think we do it, no.
The budget, so.
Mike, I think we should probably, we should do a motion on it.
All right, well, again, I believe this is in the budget, but we can just do our due diligence here and we can motion to approve the Whiteout Fire Department for $25,831. Motion for this.
Motion.
Motion by Annie,
Second.
second by Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Next up is a waiver letter of intent for EI Consultants for,
Is he gonna present, Mike, or what's going on, or is it just a letter to support him?
It's just a discussion it's a discussion to basically just talk about it, get our either consensus or get a, I don't think we need a resolution.
Bonjour. Do you wanna, I guess, what's come forward is the letter of intent with a service provider out of the Minneapolis area. We have the two mansions and carriage house property within what behavioral health has used for the MOMS programs over the last 5-6 years. The last couple of years, there were a lot of repairs. We have a tunnel between some of the buildings. We have a walkway. A lot of things that needed to be brought up to new standards. I know during COVID, one of the big issues was the front porch, and because it's a historic neighborhood, we had to put a lot of money into fixing just the porch. And there's still a lot of ongoing repairs that are needed, and I think this letter of intent is just simply saying that we're considering a partnership with one of the local service providers who provide services to homeless individuals. And it's not just homeless, it's really focused more in those with severe and persistent mental health issues. So it's a much needed service, but I think, we already know that there's a lot of things that we would need details to work through. But ultimately, it's a letter to work with a local provider in obtaining funding to do the necessary repairs, and then they would lease the building from us for a certain period of time. And I think that's, I think the letter of intent is due today, needed just to let them know that we're considering it. And then there would be a whole lot of other discussion that we would need to make sure that we do to make sure that it still fits within the, what the RBC's
Yeah, that.
strategy.
One of the things that we talked about, and we've been meeting a couple times on this, and it's Hennepin County, and also it's Adam Fairbanks and he has a consultant firm that approached us and wanted to, like Clinton's saying, they want a letter of intent. It's not a letter of commitment or anything, it's just a letter of intent for right now to basically look at it and see if we could, how much they can help us with the, with the remodel of the buildings of the mansions and stuff like that. They have some dollars that they can put forward towards remodeling them and getting them ready for what Clinton was talking about with the homeless situation up in the cities and stuff like that, in our urban area and stuff like that. So they would be able to offer more services and stuff like that. So, but then it would automatically generate into a lease program with them. And I believe it's probably going to be it could be anywhere from a 3 to 5 year lease that we'd be getting the lease monies from them as we lease the buildings to them after they fix them up and stuff like that. So, go ahead, Eugene. Eugene, yeah, we can put that in our lease. We can do that. That's something that we can do. So,
I think one of the big draws, that I saw is that we know that the estimates that we've received on the repairs that need to be done are quite extensive, and I know over the past 3 years, it's, kind of been on hold what to do with the property. Because it would require, pretty significant investment because it needs like an exterior elevator put in if they want to use services upstairs. The it needs to be filled in, sprinkler systems, things like that. And my understanding is that Hennepin County would have access to funding to make these repairs and bring the building up to standard, so to speak. And that would give us time to work with council in identifying a much longer strategy for services in the Minneapolis area. And that's, I think, one of the things we've been kind of on hold for a couple of years now. So it'd be with that.
and I know they talk about it's gonna be like a 26 beds?
25.
25 beds, yeah.
And is that something that's already been approved? Something that's
no.
already been zoned, it's in the zone, it's been.
It 2 years ago, there was an initial plan to do it, to go that direction for the zoning side. The zoning issues that we had were the elevators, the walkways, things like that, which were quite expensive. The porch alone, I think, was $150,000 that we had to fix. So I think nothing has been approved on that side, and my understanding, you guys have not approved anything. This is just more of an intent for them to apply for the funds if they get it. There still has to be that whole process of writing a lease, making sure all of these agreements are amenable.
I mean, because when we look at that hotel in DL, it wasn't zoned for a homeless shelter. And my concern is, do we invest a lot of our tribal funds into something we don't even know is feasible? So it's something I think they need to go comb through to make sure that it can be done.
And we are, one of the people that are involved in this is he's the Director of Housing Stability through Hennepin County. So he's an aide to one of the commissioners for the Hennepin County, and that commissioner is gonna be probably chairing that commission. And so I don't think we're gonna have too many problems with them zoning it for what we need to zone it for. But in this lease, it wouldn't be up to us to zone it, it would be up to them because we'd be leasing it to them. So they were the ones that would have to do the zoning and stuff like that. So, and we're not putting any dollars into it. We're putting $0 into it. They're putting money into it and they're paying the lease on it. So that's why we're thinking that this is a good deal for us. That's why we're thinking that, because they would fix it up and then plus they'd pay at least, and plus they would, basically they would be servicing some of our members too, so.
And then like I said, I think my understanding of the letter is just a letter of intent
Yep.
that we're considering it, so they would be eligible to apply for it. And if it's approved, you would still have to go through the whole process. And I know when we met and talked about this the other day, we know that we got to work with the urban community to get the input on what are the major needs, and then to Representative Summers' question about the reserved beds and things like that. My understanding that would be
Yes.
one of our fundamental requirements. But the zoning, to your question, it's already been identified as allowable service for homeless. It's just, if we wanted to
You
run it.
tell what happens though.
I know.
You tell what happens.
I know. I totally. So.
Anita, to answer your question too, they were very forthcoming because I asked them, I just need to know what's in this for White Earth. How is it gonna benefit our members? And they told us we could make some stuff in there, to hold beds for our members. But it's gonna be for homeless of anybody. And they're getting the money to fix up these mansions, which right there, we won't have to put in a dime. So, to me, that's a win-win, but this right here is just a letter of intent to say, yes, let's look into it. We're not moving forward with it as of yet, but once we figure stuff out, we will give more information in one of our meetings or something like that.
I would appreciate it. I just find it real disturbing that a lot of times when tribal monies are spent, you know, it's behind closed doors. And that's not right, because our membership needs to be aware and have input into how our monies are invested.
Yep,
And that's why we requested that we put this on the open agenda for us today, so.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see a lot of that with us, you know, with the chairman and the rest of the council, that we're gonna, you know, we're not trying to hide anything, we just need to, we need to be more transparent, and that's gonna, in the future, it'll be that way, so.
I missed a little bit of that, Mike. Is this a letter of intent? Is that what you were talking about?
That's all it is, that's all it is a letter of intent. That for them to move forward, to even kind of look at it, just look at it. We didn't approve anything yet, that's just a letter of intent. That's what they need, that's what they need today, so they can, because they're gonna secure all their funding through Hennepin County, and they're gonna secure their funding through a lot of homeless people, I would say homeless entities down in the cities area, stuff like that, so, in order to make this happen, so. Just a letter right there.
and they're gonna start moving on it on Monday, because they have a meeting on Monday. So that's why it's due today, to get to them today. With their people, so.
That's what I was, you know, we talk about transparency. When we can't get people to work on houses, it hasn't been 3 years since somebody gave out $30,000 loans and there was 11 people doing drywall on the reservation. And we can't find anybody to do drywall now or work on houses. There's a lot of people out there that are daily labor that want to work and stuff. And I guess that, I'm still a little upset about the $30,000 loans.
Let me tell you a little bit about our small businesses. A lot of them have to go to Fargo to do drywall. And they have to use their LLCs over there in order to get a check. There's no work here for them. They don't want to go through our programs because their bosses would have to pay that payroll fee, and they have to pay payroll wages. So their bosses choose not to go through us. So we have many members that are going off res to do drywall or other work just because that their big bosses don't want to be paying the payroll wages, and our little small business can't afford that wage either. So I know that's a lot because I have one contractor that is here. It is tribally owned, but they refuse to work under the payroll guidelines because they just can't afford it.
Yeah, well, thanks, Annie. That explains a little bit about that. And I think people should hear that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what's happening.
I think we're ready for a motion on that. We do a motion on it?
I'll
This letter?
motion to approve the letter of intent, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion to approve the letter of intent for the, what they call it again, the Housing Stability Hennepin County letter
I'll second it.
for EI Consultants to lease one of our, or the man.
Just a letter of intent. That's
Letter of intent, yeah, okay. Motion by Annie,
I second.
second by Mike, all in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
motion carries, thank you. Thank you.
Henry, I have a question. It was brought to my attention that there's a house, I believe it's a 3-bedroom house in District 1 that is occupied by a non-band member. And there's a family that needed a bigger house, you know, and he was told, well, 3 bedrooms too big for you because your 2 girls can share a bedroom. Now, why is she told that she can't occupy this house with her and these 2 other kids when it's right now only being occupied by 1? Why would something like that be?
I believe housing is taking care of that matter. I know there was, you know, in the unit that they're in up there, which is Ebro, his auntie, well, his mom had the house and now his auntie, but he was living there. But currently housing is taking care of that to probably evict them, so. But again, we can't just pick and choose who we put in these houses.
Right.
You know, they need to have application.
Okay.
I know we get Facebook all the time. But you gotta make sure your app's in there and you gotta make sure it's updated yearly, like, I've been on a list for 10 years, you know, but you need to get in there every year and update that application to stay on that list. So housing is working on it. We got new interim director over there, so they are working, they're striving forward, so we will know more because we are meeting with them, I think, on the 30th, so.
Which,
So that is being addressed, so, thank you.
If I could make a suggestion on that, I know what you're going through. I drive around as I'm doing these houses. The amount of empty houses in Pine Point is ridiculous. And yet there's still people that are almost homeless. I know on one area, on 129 North, I think there's 3 or 4 houses empty there that no one's living in. And these are not, some of them are mutual help homes or private, you know, that's been bought by the tribe and put houses on there. In fact, I would like to see Mike maybe, and both Mikes, and maybe you, Annie, come down and just take a drive through and take a look at the waste that's going on at Pine Point.
Okay, I know in Pine Point in the past that they, you know, some of them are tax credit. Tax credit homes are different from low rent homes. And with tax credit, there's a different eligibility and you have to meet them. I mean, you have to follow them. Maybe we have to get housing in here to explain that more. Low rent, has a whole different set of rules. And even if it looks like one of the older houses, it may have been fixed up by tax credit money. So they gotta follow the tax credit rules on that house. And I know last time that was brought up, that there isn't many on the list in Pine Point. So people aren't signing up for the Pine Point area is another issue that they're having over there. I know I have one elder out there that I'm gonna try to work on and get him into something different. And I just sent that out yesterday. So we're gonna try to get him into a home, but see there, I don't know if he owes back rent and, you know, there's so much. So I think we gotta get housing in here to explain their rules and regulations, because like one didn't qualify for a low rent home, but yet they qualified for a tax credit. And then one, their income was too high for a tax credit, so they had to go to a lower, so see, it's really confusing. But I know what you're saying, because I do go out to Pine Point, but I don't know about the mutual help homes, and that depends if they were conveyed over. Because if they were conveyed over, housing don't own them anymore.
Right.
That went to whoever was in there.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Those ones there.
Yeah.
They're just empty. Well, I go and deliver food shelf groceries sometimes to B-Mart. And I know of at least 3 or 4 people that have moved into B-Mart and Congregate from Pine Point. They moved out of their houses and moved into Congregate because of the problems they have out there. So, you know, and when I talked to housing before, I talked to Den before, and I talked to other people that work out in Pine Point on houses, and they said, they'll build a house, they'll completely fix it up, put $30,000 worth of wiring and appliances in it, and then it sits for a year. And it hasn't been much of the last, I've dealt with this issue since Tara was in. We brought it up at one of the meetings. And in fact, 2 housing people went down the road after one of our meetings where I asked for their resignation, because one RTC meeting, quarterly meeting, I asked how many houses are out on the reservation that are boarded up. And they said, well, 25. And I said, people need housing. And I said, can you change that and get them fixed and do something? And the next 3 months later, I asked them the same questions, and how many houses are boarded up? 50 of them. You know, it's doubled since we asked you to do something about it. So they both resigned. But the thing is, I see a nice big house renovated, completely renovated, new windows, and if you go through the new prods on the northwest corner of the thing, that same house was done a year ago. And it's been sitting empty now because of these same regulations that you're talking about. The government puts these regulations on them. You can't do this because you did this, or you can't get in here because you make too much money, or you don't have enough people, or whatever. That house now has got all the windows broken out of it again. And that 30,000 would probably do $50,000, 60,000 to refurbish it again.
There is a way around that. You'd have to ask for an amendment to the income limits because they don't work for our people here. But that would have to come from Housing Authority, from the board, to us, and we would have to, well, Mr. Chairman would have to sign it. But that's something that can be done, because sometimes the income limits are way too high for our people. You know, let's say they live off Social Security, they ain't gonna make this $5,000 a month or whatever you gotta make, you know?
Yep.
And sometimes nobody qualifies. It's sad.
Yep.
And it's not the federal government, it's the tax credit people that we get the money from. When I worked there, it was Raymond James. We went through Raymond James for, I think, tax credit 1, 2, and 3. But, you know, I don't know who it is. It could be anybody now. There's a lot of them that do tax credits now.
I know that was the government, and I know of one lady that took really good care of her house. She had a perfect house, but she had this live-in boyfriend, and they said he was a sexual predator or something. So they kick her out, kick everybody out, kick the kids out and stuff, and because of that rule, and then within 3 months, the house is all totally ruined. And I think that house is still empty. But a lot of, when I asked them, people that were fixing it out there, the housing people that were fixing houses, I said, why don't you put somebody in there? And I think at that time, there was a lady in charge of housing, and I won't mention her name. I asked her, I said, can't we do something about, why don't you put people in? They work 3 months on a house, spend $30,000 on a house. Why don't you put somebody in the day you finish that house? Oh, we gotta do a background check. Well, why can't you do a background check while they're working on it, so they're ready to move in there on that day? And that seems to be the problem, like this one now. I don't know why this house has been empty for a year, and after $30,000 renovation, and we're talking about appliances, refrigerators, stoves. They finish a house, lock it up, and nobody moves in it. Within a week, all the appliances are gone. Somebody's selling them. I mean, you know.
Where does this money come from, this 30,000?
Huh?
Are you talking about that $20,000 grant?
No, that was that $30,000 grant or loans that was given out by Allen.
Was this, what,
three years.
when,
It actually wasn't a loan, it was actually a grant. It was a $30,000 grant. It came from, Mr. Chairman, it came from like CARES Act or something, half CARES Act, half general fund.
Half ARPA and half general fund.
General fund, yeah. And that's something that we're gonna be addressing, so. But Sam, I wanna go back to your housing stuff. I wanna give you some advice on that. You need to go to the housing board. You need to sit down, you need to get on the agenda for the housing board. You need to bring these, have you done that yet?
No, I don't even know who's on the housing board.
Well, it doesn't matter who you know is on there, you know there's a housing board. What you have to do is you have to get on the agenda for the housing board, and you have to bring your concerns up to the housing board, because there is a board of directors that does cover this stuff here. When you come to us, yeah, we take your comments and we do all that and stuff like that, but we still have to go back to the housing board, even though we're the owners, we still go back, we want the housing board to hear these things. So I would suggest that you, as the elder council or whatever you do, I would suggest you guys go to the housing board, get on the agenda, and if you're gonna be speaking for District 3, because you live in District 3,
or Pine Point, whatever you're gonna be speaking for as a community member, I would suggest that you go to the housing board and get on the agenda and bring everything you did today, is bring that up to them and put it on record. Put it on record with the housing board, okay?
And that would be a great suggestion. My suggestion would be, not have to come to Monoman or someplace else. They should have, the housing board should meet with each community. The people in the community and say, hey, you know why all these houses are empty here and why you can't get a house? This is why, we'll explain it to you. They should have a meeting, and I would request that from the housing board, that at least once a year, they come out there and explain why these houses are empty.
And that's another reason for you to get on the agenda for the housing board and bring this stuff up to the housing board. And I'm not saying don't come here and do it, I'm just saying your first thing would be to go to the housing board. It wouldn't be any different than any other board or commission that we have here that they're having challenges. You would bring it to that board or that commission for them to deal with it. When it comes to our table, if they don't deal with it, then that's when we deal with it, okay? That's all I'm recommending, Sam, okay? Get on the agenda for housing board. They meet probably every 2 weeks.
Monthly.
They monthly, but then, they just met yesterday, actually. You could have gone on their agenda for yesterday, they just met yesterday.
How do we know? It isn't
Well-
published in the paper, it isn't published on these meetings.
Yep.
That was what we talked about a while back too, openness in these meetings. We used to, when we came here, we would get where's your paper here? It says, review and approval agenda. We used to look at them before you guys voted on them and approved them. We don't have any, we don't get your meetings anymore. We were told 6 months, a year ago, we would be getting hard copies of all meetings that the RTC has and the Elders Council. To date, we have not received one.
And that request, I talked with Tito to come and see me, and that I would print them all off for her. And she hasn't come and seen me.
Okay. Well, I'll bring it up to her.
Yep.
Bring it up next
Anytime
week,
you can
Sam.
come see me, and
Because
they are on the website.
we sat right here in this meeting and asked for those a year or two ago. And a lot of the elders said, ask for those minutes. We want to see what's going on. That's the transparency that we
Well,
see.
I know they don't, since I've been going to the elders, that we collate, there's always been this thing about, well, we don't have Facebook, we don't have access to the internet, we don't have all that stuff. So what I'm hearing is Maria Bevins here has reached out to Tito to come in and get these documents. So if you want to go back and talk to her, anybody can do that. So that would be, because we don't post everything on there, but we post the meeting dates and everything on there, and stuff like that. Everything's on the website, stuff like that, so, okay?
And we did give out computers to elders just for that reasoning, so that they could, access some of the stuff on.
And we still haven't even got, most of us don't even, they're sitting, Eugene could, if Eugene's still listening, we got these tablets, we got computers, but 90% of the elders don't even know how to use them. A lot of them probably haven't been turned on since they got them, because.
And there was supposed to be scheduled with IT that get somebody out there to get them up. What do you do? Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, and get everything they need to get their computers up and running, so.
all right. Thanks, Eugene.
Cheryl, I have a question. I don't understand about this $30,000 for renovating homes. No, then we go into talking about it being, people have to be qualified under two certain programs in order to be present. I wouldn't.
No, we don't have, I think I think you guys are getting that confused because it's remember the $1 million we set aside for elders?
Right.
For fixing up and stuff? Right now, they did the appliance, they did all that, so that, the money left over now is going into homes that need furnaces, that need roofs, and it's not 30,000, it's gonna be whatever.
We never did a number.
No, it's gonna be whatever is needed in that home to make it safe for their elders right now.
So, there was some confusion there, because I'm thinking, well, why would we be paying for something that somebody's gonna be renting out rather than it being their primary residence?
This is homeowners, the $1 million are for homeowners, elder homeowners.
Yep, and then we've got another program coming up for homeowners, and it's not only for elders, but it's for.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody, and it's actually for descendants and anybody, I guess, I don't know, I really didn't get to look at the thing here, but I'm gonna look at that and see, but that's gonna be to help them pay their back payments on their mortgage, electricity, and then it sounds like some of that can be used to fix up the home too, but like I said, I didn't get through the whole thing, so I gotta.
It's a half.
Yep, it's housing assistance, our homeowners assistance fund.
Yeah.
And that's coming down, so I'm just trying to get up to par on it as we sit here, so, but it's, going kind of slow for me, but.
They were granted that money, they just haven't got it yet, they gotta come up with policy and procedures and stuff like that for it, so.
All right, well, thank you.
Where are we at?
Christmas story.
Yeah, next up on the agenda is the Christmas toys.
I thought it was under new business.
Believe it was raising that,
Ratification.
yeah. It was,
Maria, do you want, or who's gonna talk about this one?
yeah, we'll go with Maria.
It's for our White Earth Christmas toy program,
It's on, you just gotta,
and,
Hey, where
we
you at?
raised it from 20 to 25 because of the inflation for the toys for our kids for Christmas.
we consensus that, right?
What was that on, Mike?
On the Toys for Tots. Toys for Tots?
Huh?
Toys for Tots, raising it from 20 to 25,000.
Okay.
No,
$20.
$20 to 25.
$20, I'm sorry, what do I do? Holy crap.
$25.
$20,000. 20 to 25, I'm sorry.
Yeah, on that one, it's from
That's for
$20 per
kids.
toy
For the
to
kids, yeah.
$25
And those
per
cards,
toy,
yeah.
because they went up.
For the Christmas, there was a discussion on that in Plain Point the other day. Is that going to be going through the community councils then?
It does go through, always does.
And what I'm hearing in Plain Point is if you don't live on the reservation, or you're not a White Earth enrollee, and you live, don't live, most of our programs are within 25 miles, I think, to be at the party and enroll in the things. And the chairman out there of the Plain Point Community Council says no. He says, I was up there and talked to White Earth, and they said, no, we can't do off the reservation anymore.
They haven't since even when I worked with Tara, they haven't done off reservation. But, that's something we discussed, and we're gonna look at maybe getting DL and Callaway to go together and get a community council going so that we can service those. And it's never been for non-enrolled children. It's always, they had to be enrolled
Yes, they have
children.
to be.
Cause that fund is coming from us.
But we have a lot of people from other reservations living on our reservation.
Well, they have to be enrolled here in White Earth.
Okay, I know.
And I think that's been set forth long before we came on. So I don't know, I haven't seen the rules and regulations or anything. I guess the community councils go by their bylaws or whatever, so I don't know.
I believe for some of the programs, you know, if the money's coming like for the cards and stuff like that, and the money that we're putting in for the Toys for Tots, we also get donations from other entities. You know, that would be up to that community council whether they wanted to share those toys with non-members, but federally recognized members in their community. That would be up to the community council. That's gonna be their decision, not ours.
Okay. Yeah, I know it was brought up to my attention and it's, I'm so sick of friends and family. Out in Pine Point, that's what everything is based on out there, friends and family. Two families, and they're trying to keep everybody else out from participating in programs. They had a veterans dinner out there the other night, and at least 3 veterans come up to me and said, we didn't even hear about it. They wouldn't even invite us. I don't have anything.
And who's doing this? Is the community councils doing it?
Huh?
The community councils did the veterans dinner?
Did a veterans dinner out there on, I think it was last, I wanna say Thursday,
Like 2
Friday?
weeks ago. I think it was on Tuesday.
Sam, can I make another suggestion for you? Okay? And don't take this any way to others, I wanna make a suggestion to you. If you want, I'm not saying if you want changes, you have to do this, this and that. But if you do attend the community council meetings,
Yeah, when they publish them.
okay?
Nobody
you
knows
attend
what
them,
they are.
If you feel really strongly about it, why don't you run for community council and get on a community council and make some changes?
They just had an election, and I asked the first question, which member of the family got in this time? Oh, she got 25 votes. I don't have 25 relatives, Mike, out in Pine Point. That's the
I'm
thing.
making suggestions, Sam.
That's right there. So that's what I'm talking, friends and family.
Okay, maybe the elder commission, or, no, you guys are the elder council, can ask them if you can be in on the distribution of them toys. I mean, you are another council, you do cover that area, maybe you can do that, you know. I see no problem with that. If the elders wanna help distribute toys in any community, I think that should be allowed. So, be good.
But no, Mike and I have discussed this about out there, run for office out there. I did it one time, and the guy counting the votes, ended up his mother got on the community council. So how do you deal with something like that? And they held the election the same day as the national election. So it's one of those things.
Well, we don't have them here to respond. I don't know, maybe we can ask them in and, or maybe we should all meet out there or something, I don't know. But, we do need representation of our elders for each community, and, you know, a lot of this is surrounded by Pine Point. But where is Rice Lake? Where is Nadawash? Where is Elbow Lake? Where is White Earth? Where is Callaway? You know, all these communities have elders too. So maybe we have to get together a real good group and go to these community council meetings. And I know Tito was attending the White Earth one, but I don't know if she does anymore. So, that's something we should look at then, you know, is getting our elder representatives to these meetings and get them to attend. Miigwech.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So Maria, do you need a motion for this ratification?
Please.
Okay, motion to ratify the White Dollars Program ratification.
Motion.
Motion by Mike,
Second.
second by Annie, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. And I think we found a solution for the Wild West Roundup. I think Quentin's going to assist with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would still like to ask anyway.
Okay.
Because any kind of donation won't just profit this year, but it will help for next year and the following years. So if I could, and I, this is my first year on the committee, so I'm not even sure if I'm following the right chain of command or the right procedure to present this, but here I am.
Yeah, I know when we get donation requests, I know they go to the donation committees. But Lori, I guess you can help me with, explain this, that, how does the process work? Now we have several donation committees, so.
So yeah, we have two donation committees. One primarily works with folks that have LLCs, and they don't do individual assistance. And then the other donation, well, there's a lot of donation requests that come in for the Elders Fund and the Youth Fund. And right now we have a tentative budget from the Elders Commission. And we are budgeting out the Youth Commission. So there's gonna be opportunity at times when you can put a request in for those funding. And so we're building the structure of that now. But there's two donation routes to take. And we're trying to make sure that with the one that only helps like the groups and LLC, that we're picking up the gaps in those donation requests. So hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Chairman.
Does that help you?
I didn't understand it really.
Yeah, I know that, one thing that when we do give out donations, especially annually, that we expect to probably a budget, especially that, you know, that how are the organization that you're working for, you know, their business.
Yes.
So that's when we give a donation to this organization is, you know, we expect is where your needs are at, you know, why you're having shortfalls. So I think that's the reason why us as the council is doing our due diligence, and also these donation committees will probably ask us, because there is multiple policies in both donation committees, what she's talking about, and you know, they're basically their policies, so.
Yeah, and I don't have the, all the paperwork right now, but I do have for the last two roundups, the costs of just what we paid at the casino. But then we also have our speakers and our drums, and we pay for their travel fare and gifts, and I think the most expensive is the food and stuff from the casino and the rooms that we rent and the meeting rooms, and so I mean, we do kind of have it broken down, but we don't have it to be presented just yet. We just had a meeting last night that we didn't get done till after 10, and we just got these papers signed just to present the letter and the request for the donation.
So it sounds like there's two different things though. It sounds like the Wild Rice Roundup has a budget that has been drafted and identified for the group. That's one area. The letter request that you brought forward is a donation request in the amount of $2,000 that wasn't budgeted for, that you're looking for additional funds from the tribal leaders. So typically when there's a donation request that comes in, there's a format and a paperwork filled out, or in this case, this information you're presented has all of the information there to why the request is in process. Structurally and internally, we're working on policies that are going to maximize and make sure that we're getting folks' requests, responded to in a timely manner. Some of those things will include like a report back to the tribal leaders on how many people had attended and where the money went to, and the turnout, right? Or what was learned in that process. So that's what we're, setting up, but it's not official yet. It's still in the works because there's 4 different things that we're looking at right now to make sure that everything is maximized and procedurally set up.
Yeah, which I understand, and Pam said that she reached out with you, and she's been on the committee, I believe, most of the time that this has been running. And so, like I said, this is my first year with the committee. I just been with them for a month, so I didn't really know the process. I'm just taking orders from Pam to show up at this meeting and give the letter. So we've only met twice so far, and I got part of the budget report, and I have an attendance number. I think it was 250 participants, and Yeah, so I don't have it all in front of me, and I don't even have it ready to present. I was just told by our chairman just to come and present this letter, so I guess I'm just doing what I know I was told to do, so. But I understand what you're saying and the procedures that go with it. And also Mike was saying that, you know, I could go to each of the programs and maybe get funds there, which I plan on doing and have went to some treatment places. And I guess my request there to them is our participants of the clients in these programs is very low. So I was hoping to go to all these programs and ask them to sponsor their clients and maybe pay for their registrations, possibly rooms. And that's where I was going with them. Now, if there's a way that I ask for donations from them too, I would definitely take that road also.
Actually, we're trying to streamline the donations so special interest groups aren't going directly to programs.
Yeah.
Because then we have to be mindful that multiple people are not donating across the board to the same thing and
Definitely.
crisscrossing of those funds going out. So we want to make sure that we're streamlining this process when those requests come in.
Yep,
You know?
and definitely, my plan wasn't to go to the programs and ask for donations. I was gonna go to the programs and ask them to sponsor their clients and get their clients here.
Yep, and I think
And promote our schedule and who we have on our agenda, and that's what I
That's
was
who you'll
gonna
be
do.
contacting.
Yeah, I told her we can definitely, I know it's been requested in the past, you know, and that registration fee, I think is something you guys use as well to help cover
Yeah.
speaker fees. So I can tell the managers, well, we can cover any of our clients who are in the programs, we can cover their registration, encourage their attendance. I know Pat has always been an advocate for that.
Yeah, we have so many members in so many different substance programs that we should have an amazing turnout from the clients. And I know a lot of them are financially strapped, so if their programs help them to get there, it's like, that's a plus for our reservation. So, yes, I wasn't gonna go to the programs and ask for donations. I was gonna strongly encourage and show them the agenda and our lineup and promote it to their clients and get them excited. So that was my plan, so, and I know the programs would be coming to you and asking if they can do it, so. Like I said, I'm new to this, so thank you guys for your time.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you for coming in, yeah.
and I think the earlier the better, like start doing it in the
Exactly.
summertime, I'll start looking at doing what you're doing now. Just getting that out there early so you can have everything
Yeah,
else.
and we also have a summer program, summer roundup that many people aren't even aware of. And so I want to bring that lineup to the programs also. So this is something that should just be added to the agenda anyway, just for our members that are struggling.
You mean add it to the website or add it to our Facebook page?
Something, maybe Facebook page,
Yeah.
something that the program should be trying to promote for their clients.
We can wear Roman Hanks.
We can put it up, I mean, we can send it out to managers, you know, strongly encouraging counselors to support their clients. I know we get the request every year.
Yeah, and
In the past, it's been hit or miss, but I know we've already been getting a lot of requests from staff asking if they can register their clients, so.
yeah, and we work with AA and Al-Anon, and we just want everyone to be fired up because this is a problem that's affecting all of our reservation. And so, yeah, we just
We
want
better
people
find
to
somebody with
get-
marketing in your group then to start marketing it, so it's good.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, thanks for hearing
Richard,
us.
thank you for coming today, so. Okay. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, can I have to make a statement quick. I want to apologize for a comment I made earlier before the meeting started. And I want to put that comment out to Anita. I want to publicly apologize for my comment I made earlier. So I'm an elected official. I should know better, and I made that comment earlier. And if anybody has any questions about it, they can contact me and talk to me about it. So, but I just want to put that out there. I want to put a public apology out for the comment I made earlier. Thank you.
Okay, Rich.
And Mr. Chairman, can I just,
Yes.
I got asked by the elders about snow plowing, and I checked, and they said when 4 inches fall, they'll be out there to start plowing. But I know there was some concerns on some other stuff, so I also asked that they look at if day labor can do some shoveling for our elders and, you know, get it cleared up to their tanks as you guys have been asking. So that's something I'm still working on with day labor. Me go ahead.
On that subject, Annie, the daily labor crew I've got, we go and eat dinner at this, EMP site. And yesterday we walked in there and, the floor where we sit at one table in the back and have coffee and wait till everybody else. I'm an elder. 2 of us are elders and 2 of my employees are not. We messed up the floor. So I asked the cook, I said, here, being we eat here and we're messing up your floor, get your mop and we will mop that up. And then we mopped the floor yesterday for everybody, not just for our table, for everybody. We shoveled the sidewalk in front of the EMP site. We did that. And they said, you don't have to do that. I said, we get paid. That's what we get paid for, working, you know, and stuff. And Daryl came along and he said, that's good. He said, you know, and what Daryl told me is the daily labor is not just for elders. And, you know, it's for everybody. The daily labor crews should be working for everybody. And you know, and I told him, I said, we will, being we eat here, we will, if you need, when we come and there's sidewalks need shoveled, we'll shovel it when we come for dinner. It only takes 10 minutes for 4 of us to shovel the whole thing and clean up. And that's what we do and stuff. And then we talked about snow plowing, because a lot of times the snow plows push snow up against, and it's in, I don't know if you guys have got the original deal, but this was all written up in the original commission bylaws of what was supposed to be, the commission was supposed to do. And we talked about that, of doing, we have a problem in Pine Point and some other communities as well, as I've heard, is if you're an elder and the snow plows come in and plow your snow and push it up against that fuel tank, they won't climb over a bank. They'll say, we're not gonna deliver fuel, so you get that snow away from that fuel tank. Well, we can't do anything about it. I mean, the elders are gonna not get fuel. So we send, the crews should be out there doing that, shoveling snow at those too. And we have heard about that. So there's a lot of things that daily labor does for elders. I know Tito asked about having our gutters cleaned, and we got ladders and stuff. Well, I told Daryl, you know, I said, I don't know the crew and who the crew is in White Earth. We're crew number 3. There must be another 1 crew up in Nadawash and White Lake, and 2 for White Earth and Elbow. Crew number 2. So we're crew number 3.
Thank you, Sam. I know our day labor works hard out there, and it's a good program that benefits our, you know, our membership. And, you know, I know that requests that come into them, hopefully that they're addressing the requests. So it's important that, you know, that our day labor, like what Annie talked about earlier about, you know, trying to help the elders out with anything, shoveling, mowing, or raking up garbage or whatever. Those are things that are detrimental to us that we.
One of the things Joan and I talked about, all of a sudden, out of the blue, yesterday, they put a sign up, the EMP site, the elders aren't being fed today because some program. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the only day they'll get fed. The elders are, a lot of these elders, sometimes that's the only meal they get. And I mean, I can see next week, Thursday, it's Thanksgiving, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days off. But like today, now, this Friday, they're off. How would you regulate,
Would they do bag lunches?
how would you regulate
They
it?
don't do bag lunches? They're supposed to be doing bag lunches, right?
Yeah, they did, I don't think they did in Pine Point yesterday.
You don't think, or do you know for sure?
They did it in White Earth. I should have brought you my bag of lunch, but I gave it away because I can't eat any of this. It was stuff, but it was junk.
Oh, okay.
But, My mom worked for the EMP program, her and Seraphine Martin, for about 30 years. And I remember her not cooking for us because they went and cooked even on the holidays. They were essential to the elders program. But someplace along the line, they become non-essential. And I don't know how that changes.
I know I worked with Char Heisler and I was on a training program and she did the White Earth ENP, and whenever the tribe shut down, we shut down. And we didn't even do bag lunches for anybody at that time, but this was, God, well, not that long ago, I ain't that old, but.
Not even on anyway.
Oh, yeah. Good. But I know we didn't do bag lunches because we always had it out there early enough that we were off.
Yeah.
You know.
They'd go to work in the morning early, and after dinner, they'd have the afternoon off, the rest of the day off. But they at least got the lunches out and the center for the elders to eat.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a comment. We did talk about business side and government side. We had a conversation earlier, and I'm not gonna bring that up any more than what I did right now, but I think and I think Mindy's here also, so, I mean, I think we need to maybe look at maybe some, not hazard pay, but some kind of pay that when we're off, not only when we're off, but when holidays and stuff like that. And I know Kat Thompson does a really good job about, with getting the bag lunches and stuff out like that too. Maybe it's not what people want, but she still gets it done, so. But I mean, talk about maybe some, I wouldn't say hazard pay, I would say a pay that we could have those kitchens open during our stuff like that. If, that's something maybe we could address in the future and have somebody have staff there when we're off so they can provide the meals in each one of the EMP kitchens that need to be done. Because we all understand, like Sam's saying, is that, yes, they do, that might be their only meal for the day and stuff like that. So that's just something I want to bring up, Mr. Chairman, that's it.
I believe that at one point during the COVID shutdown, when Monoman elders were actually getting a ENP meal, if there was like a holiday or something coming up where something was closed, they actually brought 2 lunches, one for that day and one for the day that they're gonna be closed. So that may also be something that might be put into place again. That way we're not spending extra money on hazard pay, although that was a good idea. But like I said, deliver 2 lunches and let them know, hey, this is for today, that's for tomorrow when we're closed.
So we did 2 things. There was a survey that was sent out to the folks that were using ENP, and the survey came back that they were fine with the bag lunches. There was a handful of those that were not happy with the bag lunches, but overall, folks were really happy for those bag lunches. And we do have those survey results. And then the second thing is that we talked about doing a pilot for that program to offset during the winter months. So if there was a snow day, we would still have, say there was a snow day on Thursday, Friday, or it became a long weekend. Well, then that pilot would offer the staff to come in on that Saturday or that Sunday and either adjust their schedule or having a flex schedule in there somehow, some way. So we are working on a pilot project for the winter months only, because in the summer months we don't have the same, unsafe closings and things like that. So we're working on it, and that's the update I wanted to provide feedback. Miigwech, Anita. Miigwech, Joan.
The thing about it is, a little bit advance notice. I don't know what's going on today, why EMP was shut down. None of the other RTC is shut down, just the EMP, I think. But we didn't know about it till 12:30 yesterday afternoon. All of a sudden she puts on the board after lunch, we will not be here tomorrow, we'll shut down. So,
No, they were just, the employees were excused to go to this Hawa event, a healthy Hawa event, so we weren't closed down today.
that's why I asked, if we could work today because, but it got too cold and stuff, and I think we'll probably work Sunday. And like you talked about making up that day, like Lortman said, you work on maybe Saturday or Sunday, and we'll work on Sunday because I wanna finish these by next Wednesday, all the houses that are in need out there.
And you worked that out with Daryl, correct?
Yeah.
Or was it Daryl?
Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl.
And he said, no, he said, cause I asked him when he put it on the board, I said, are we gonna be shut down? No, he said, I don't even know what they're shut down for.
Those programs are different too, so their program is different. They don't fall under they're under the RBC, but they're specialized programs.
Sam, I just wanted to make a comment on, anything that has to do with the elders over, with the ENP and Rice Lake there.
So,
They usually send out a flyer, like if I get something, I'll send it out in a flyer to with the meals, so they'll get the flyer and they'll at least read it, so maybe that'd be a recommendation, I'm saying, make sure you get a flyer in the meal, what you're doing.
a couple days in advance, so they see,
exactly.
the elders, all of a sudden, they get one yesterday afternoon, and said, you're not getting a meal tomorrow. Well, good, now what am I gonna do, I don't have anybody to get me groceries, I don't have anything to cook because I'm expecting my meal.
Okay, guys, but appreciate all the information. I know we have a presentation coming up here. I know she's on limited time, so she has to be, but you can stay and watch the presentation, but it's something that we have to get done today, so it's something.
You gonna stay?
She online?
Yeah.
You gonna stay?
They're online?
Yeah, she's online.
Okay.
Hey, can you make that stream big so we can do a presentation, so. I know it's important that this is one area of the reservation that's kind of affecting us are these concentrated animal feeding operations is something that, not only myself and the council, but also our legal staff is taking some measures to stop this. So, they're very unhealthy for not only our groundwater and our precious water, I should say, our NEB, that it's important that we protect and what we can do for our homeland here, so keep these feeding lots away from us, so.
All right, thank
Jamie?
you, Brady.
The other one. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie, right now, YouTube can't hear you, so
It
it's
cuts
kind
out,
of.
because it's not compatible with both, it cuts out YouTube. So they
So I'm
can't
trying to
hear
figure out
Teams.
if we can we put her on a separate Teams? No, because you're on Teams, Eugene, but if we could just separate, Teams and YouTube.
Won't be able to.
You're not gonna be able to.
Because this cuts out on, for people to hear on YouTube, whereas only Eugene can hear.
No, it doesn't.
No,
It
doesn't.
It doesn't help.
Well, it doesn't solve it, but I'm just trying to think if we could do a separate Teams and then,
One on one screen and one on the other, you're talking about maybe? No?
Mr. Chair,
Because it
can you
uses both.
record the Teams meeting now and post it later?
Post it later? Possible. Can they record it?
yes, Jamie, but,
Can she
yeah, hang on one second.
herself and then we could
Could
upload
she
it
do
later?
one?
Can we just put Jamie on Teams on the phone and let her talk and then,
Can she just do a recording after and then
Yeah, and then
upload it to
post it.
Face, or?
Send it to her?
then we must well get on YouTube, right? Well, we had with,
We're off YouTube now.
No,
No, we're not.
you're still on YouTube.
Hang on, Jamie, what we'll do next is we'll pass the consent agenda, then we'll go into your presentation. Is that what you wanna do, guys?
Yep.
And then we'll have this all set up and then we could, what we'll do is the YouTubers can listen to your report and then, that's what we'll do now. I mean, we'll see you from, or worse than that, we can see you good, and hear you good, but just YouTube, we can't, get that. But right now, right now, we'll finish this consent agenda. RBC members, the consent agenda is a few things. We have change of address for travel licenses, men's acute care, Mayo Clinic, Blandon Foundation, letter for boost grant, childcare license, infant toddler, PNC COVID funds, amendment 2 to COLA, BIE grant, Oshki money due youth heating, cooling, elder housing, the IHBA application for some money, Nadawash Health Center, change order, Jack Hall, some change orders there, some MDH, eliminated health disparities initiative funding, Great Lakes Intertribal, sub-award, 2023 Indian Housing Plan, tribal certificate, acceptance of 2-year request disaster recovery grant, a special focus grant resolution, new LIC request for Eric Bauer, purchase of ordinance property in Bemidji, LIC renewals, Bones Incorporated Tobacco License Renewal, Chapel, information on billing, and then MDA Pesticide Management Planning Committee resolution. Amendment to 2022 angling rough fish bow fishing seasons, okay. Change orders for streetlights and master partner contract for maintenance work and orders and resolution. That's it.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarity's sake, we had to remove, the homeowners assistance fund. That was for discussion only, so we're gonna remove that from the consent agenda, just for the record.
Okay, any questions on those? council. Motion to approve.
All motion.
Motion by Henry,
Second.
second by Andy, all in favor?
Aye.
Huge. Let us be walking in. Motion. Are you aye? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we'll try to get Jamie here on the phone for her report, and then we'll just go with YouTube here on the backside, so, Aisha, can we do a separate,
Wait till Eugene.
Teams?
I would wait.
Let's wait till Eugene gets in here.
Okay, what we'll do, Jamie, we'll take 5 minutes, okay, and we'll get it ready here for you. Thank you. Good.
15.
3 days.
Michelle, how can we set this thing?
I'm gonna call IT down here. They know more about that stuff than I do.
Because what we can do is we can point the camera of the laptop towards her screen on
Anita, they did send out extra lunches yesterday.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That is a good idea. Like I said, I know they were doing it at one point. Something happened during the